Hello and welcome back. Today we're going to learn how to create a file in Windows 11. But please do not worry, this is a very beginner-friendly course, and by the end of this course you will be able to create files and folders with confidence. Before we dive into creating a file, I want to introduce you to Windows 11's desktop, the desktop folder, and what a file looks like in Windows 11. The first objective for this course is to have you create an independent desktop folder that you can use to save all of your files and folders for the duration of this course. The independent folder allows you to work in a safe environment, away from your existing files and folders, which is what we call a sandbox. To prepare you for this course, I will demonstrate how to create your desktop folder step by step and have you create your desktop folder during my presentation. However, I will start off first by introducing you to the Windows desktop. Here is what my desktop looks like for Windows 11. Keep in mind that this is only one of many themes available for Windows desktop. Your desktop may be different if you have configured a picture as your background, or you have selected a different theme. In either case, that is totally fine as long as you know where the desktop is located. If so, you're ready for this course. On the other hand, Windows 11 also has a desktop folder, which contains what you have placed on your desktop. To get to the desktop folder, you can click on the File Explorer folder at the bottom of your screen, located on your taskbar. Once you have your File Explorer open, click on the desktop folder in the top left corner. You are now in your desktop folder. For this course, we will create a desktop folder inside of your original desktop folder so that you can feel free to work in your new folder without touching your original desktop folder's content. To begin this exercise, we will start off with the first step, which is to create the desktop folder. While inside of your original desktop folder, right-click anywhere in the center of your folder's white space, and a context menu will appear as shown here. Once the context menu is available, move down to the keyword New and hover over it. At this point, another context submenu will appear as shown here on my screen. Once the submenu appears, click on the folder option to create a new folder, which is the first option in the submenu. This takes us to the second step, which is to give the folder a name. As you can see, the name portion of the folder is highlighted, and the system is waiting for you to give the folder a name. At this point, go ahead and type in the name, desktop, folder, and then press the Enter key to save the name. Once you press the Enter key, you now have an empty desktop folder you can work in for the entire course. Congrats on creating your new desktop folder. Next, I will show you what a file looks like in Windows 11. All you will need to do at this point is just sit back and watch my screen. After my demonstration, we will work together to create files step by step. In the interim, before I can create the file, I will need to access my newly created desktop folder. I can do that by double-clicking my folder or right-clicking my folder and selecting Open. Now that I'm in my desktop folder, the first step here is to create the file. To create the file, I'm going to right-click any white space inside of my folder, and as you can see, a context menu pops up again. Once the context menu is available, I'm going to move down to the keyword New and hover over it. At this point, another context submenu will appear as shown here on my screen. This menu gives you the option to create any of the file types you see here. Files like Access Database, bitmap images, MS Word, Excel, etc. However, since everyone taking this course may not have Microsoft Office products, such as Word, Excel, or PowerPoint, I'm going to select the free integrated text document file. This takes us to the second step, which is to give the file a name. I am going to give this file the name test. And then I'm going to press enter to save the name. I now have a new file and folder. Likewise, we will discuss creating and naming files and folders in more detail as we move forward. With that in mind, my question to you is, what do we use folders for? If you say it to organize your files, you're correct. Just to quickly demonstrate for illustration purposes only, I will create another folder and give it the name IRS. Okay, I now have an IRS folder. Next, I'm going to rename the file I previously created by giving it the name 2025 IRS Taxes. Now that I have renamed my file, I'm going to place the 2025 IRS Taxes file inside of the IRS folder using the drag and drop feature. As you can see, by giving the file and folder a relevant related name, and by placing the file inside the associated folder, we are organizing our files and folders. That makes it easier to locate your files as needed. Okay, let's have fun in the next lecture, working together to create files step by step.